I'm meteorologist Carly Gomez. We've been seeing a lot of winter weather across the region, but is what you're encountering actually snow? Well, it could be snow, it could be graupel, or it could be hail. Now, this video sent to us by Chris Laird is actually graupel in Folsom. What graupel is it comes down as snow, but as it continues to fall, it attaches along with super cooled water droplets, making it a little bit more squishy, I'd say, as opposed to hail. But when it hits the ground, it could be a little bit more bouncy, not as fluffy and light as it falls. But take a look at this. This in Copperopolis. This is snow. We saw this at much higher elevation yesterday, sent in by Vanessa. Just beautiful there as a lot of people enjoying some of the snowfall. A lot of the elevations where that snow is falling has been closer to about 1,000 feet, but we could see some of those snowflakes dropping off close to 500 feet by early Friday morning. Let's take a look at the different types of precipitation. How do you know whether or not what you're seeing is actually snow falling, hail, graupel, or sleet? Yeah, it's a little confusing when it comes to winter weather. Let's talk about what we know. We know rain, right? We know that the clouds deliver that rain straight to us in a warm air of layer here. This layer of warm air drops, that moisture continues to fall as rain. Where things start changing and switching is when we see that rain falling down from the sky, but the surface, the actual ground that you're standing on, is at freezing point or lower. At that point, when that rain hits the ground, it turns to ice. That's what we call freezing rain. Now we start getting into the more winter-like conditions here, where you actually see some warmer air here falling. And of course, that still falls into the freezing rain category, but we can also start seeing things fall here as where you're getting right at this border line. This line is where we start to see maybe a snowflake falling. It might hit a layer of warmer air and then continues to fall down. In that warmer air, we get those super cooled water droplets. It's not snow, it's not freezing, but it attaches itself to the snowflake. When that snowflake attaches on with that super cooled water droplet, it hits the ground, but it's still slushy. It's not quite hard like hail. Oftentimes, hail is mostly associated with updrafts. When we start thinking of thunderstorms, it's really much harder, more dense, and it bounces harder as well. These are a little bit softer, so when they fall, it could actually look like snowfall, but make sure you're keeping an eye on it, especially at the lowest elevations. Areas at right around sea level typically aren't seeing snowfall. There are chances. There's some rare occasions. For us, though, in the valley around Sacramento, we have been seeing graupel falling. It does appear like snow, though. And then, of course, we all know snow. Much lighter, fluffier, doesn't usually come down as hard as we see graupel or hail falling. It's much lighter and takes a little bit for it to actually hit the ground, much softer. And if you really want to get a good look, get real close to it. You can even grab a magnifying glass, take a look. Do you see some of those snowflake patterns, or are you seeing kind of more of a rounded edge when it comes to those snowflake graupel mix kind of situations we're dealing with? Then you can get a better look and understanding on whether or not you're seeing graupel or snow. All right, let's talk now about what we can expect when we do encounter these situations, especially on the roadways. Now, we do see black ice when we see freezing rain or sleet. When it lands on the ground and starts freezing over, this is where we get into those dangerous situations. Now, keep steering your wheel straight. Make sure you're trying to at least stay forward and moving. Don't brake. That's where you start skidding and start creating wrecks, spin outs, things like that. And if you start losing some control, take your foot off the accelerator, slow down, and just kind of hold on until you kind of start getting to slow down as opposed to accelerating or even braking. So those are some of the tips you can deal with when you're dealing with ice on those roadways. All right, let's start talking about the snow moving into the Sierra for us. What we're going to see over the next 48 hours, well, we're going to look at a lot of snowfall accumulating on the ground as low again as maybe 500 feet, but it's mostly around 1,000 feet and higher. We are also expecting very strong winds that'll create near whiteout conditions for us. Major travel delays are expected. We are expecting also to see potential for those road closures intermittently as we move from Thursday into Friday. Chain controls, we've already been seeing those. So again, travel right now, highly discouraged. You may have one good day of travel Saturday. By Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, more wet weather and snowy conditions. Now, the cold weather impacts, even if you're at lower elevations, may be impacting you. May not be getting accumulating snow, maybe an inch or less, but you still want to protect your pipes. And you can do that by insulating them, even in the inside of your home, the interior. Open those cabinets, those kitchen drawers, and at least let some of the warm air from your home hit those pipes. That'll help a little bit. And then if you have outdoor pipes exposed, you'll want to try to cover those as well. You're looking at the impacts of being higher heating bills. Of course, we could see damaged plants, and you want to make sure you're helping each other out, sheltering the unhoused as well as pets. Now, the impacts for outdoor activities are going to be pretty big for the weekend. The only good day we have really is Saturday, and that's really only half a day. We may have only 4 or 5 hours where we're not seeing too bad of conditions before it starts right back up again on Sunday. We have the GFS model. This is a global model showing us how much we could see at least through Friday late night. And some of these models showing maybe even above Roseville, below Auburn, an inch. Now, the GFS model varies a lot compared to the European model. As we take a look up Donner and Emigrant Gap here, you can see it's 34 to 38 inches potentially. So we could be seeing just close to even 3 feet of snow for some of these zones there and higher elevations and peaks. Now take a look and compare that to the Euro model. You're seeing these numbers a lot less. Emigrant Gap as much as almost 10 inches less. So yeah, they're varying. Even Roseville seeing 0 there. So we have been seeing and favoring the European model as of late, but that doesn't mean we won't or can't see any snow, even in Folsom, as we move into early Friday morning. So keep that in mind as well. And of course, we know a lot of the freeways have been impacted when it comes to all of this. So make sure the roadways off 50, 84, they're all safe, and you're checking that before you head out the door.